Maggots, we're back. Hope everybody had a good week. What's going on over there?
Not too much.
No? We got a fucking funky one for you this week. We, after a little bit of reading around over the last few weeks, the last few years I've noticed the metal industry seems to have a shit ton of people that just aren't really good people. And we kind of hinted at this in a previous episode, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. A couple weeks ago, I think when we had Stefan on, we mentioned that we were going to do this episode.
Yeah, so I was thinking to myself, we should be able to find a few, we should at least find a couple of fucked up individuals in the metal scene throughout the years. And I've kind of discovered that there's a little more than a few. There's boatloads and boatloads and boatloads of fucked up people. Probably, I guess, not just in metal, but since we like metal here at Getting Hard Podcast.
So you know what that brings us to? Dun dun dun, scandals.
Yeah, scandals and otherwise. So,
do you think they could see my hand gestures there?
Oh, well.
Hear my hand gestures?
Yeah, I saw them. That was enough. You guys weren't missing anything.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, yeah, so how's your week been?
The norm, just kids work.
Yeah, I hear that. At least you look after the kids and I don't have to. But, yeah. So, we got a few things lined up. And this is probably, we've kind of figuring out, is going to end up being a continuation thing. We're not going to do it all in a series in a row, but eventually down the road you will find more episodes such as this pop up. We might try to make a thing of it.
Broken mini-series.
Well, there's enough fucking people that we could do stories. We were just talking about this before the pod, that we could have a podcast just based off of this.
Mm-hmm.
Only in metal. And there's a few stories I wanted to bring up, but I found out that they weren't really metal bands, and I'm pretty passionate about this not being a rock and roll podcast or not being a pop punk podcast, so that's why I kind of stuck to, bands and people who were in the metal scene.
It's funny you say that, because one of the first things that popped up when I started looking for information was scandals in K-pop.
Yeah. Well, I had a story. I was kind of ready to throw it on here, and then last minute I just I threw it out because it's a band. They're called Lost Prophets, and we're not gonna talk about it. Maybe we'll do something on it. But this guy, even just leaving out metal and music in general, is probably one of the worst fucking individuals that I've ever read about. Literally the worst individuals in the world. And so I wanted to bring it up, and we would have had to do a whole fucking disclaimer bullshit, because this would have been one people would have been turning it off. Parents would have been turning it off, mostly. And so that's about the only hints I'm going to give you. But if you really want to know more, just search up Lost Prophets sometime, and you might learn some shit you didn't want to know. So, anyway, and they were a very famous band from England, too. So, but they're, once I listened to their music, and I was like, that's just fucking garbage. I'm not even talking about them, because I like metal. So, the only people we're giving attention to is metalheads. So, for my first story... Do you want me to go?
Yeah, jump in there, Timmy.
For my first story, I got one that a lot of people know about. So I kind of want to just break everybody in with something that is quite familiar to people. Everybody knows of this. They may not know all the details of it, but everybody knows about the Norwegian black metal church burning bullshit. And so I just want to touch on it a little bit, just kind of open up everybody's eyes a little bit, and also just be a good intro into what we're going to try to do here with this this type of episode that we're going to be, like I said, every episode we're doing is not going to be like this. The next one we do after this probably will have nothing to do with this, but someday down the road we'll have a sequel to it. So, back in the day, when black metal was a new thing, it was very religious based, we'll say. It was all based off of anti-Christianity and Satanism and stuff like that, or at least that's what they wanted. They wanted you to believe, anyways. Okay, I'm just making sure we're recording here because that would have pissed me off if we weren't. We are. No, it's good. We're
I'm gonna have to
rolling.
fire you from production.
Yeah. No, we're good to go. So, anyway, how it started with the church burning was in 1992. There was a wave of arson attacks, which began on Christian churches only in Norway, and it all started with a failed burning, so an attempted arson, attempted fire that was put out before the church was burnt down, of a place called Storveit, and I'm probably going to say all kinds of these names wrong because I'm not Norwegian, and some of the names in Norway, you know yourself, they're a little fucking crazy. Like, they put J's in where they're supposed to be Y's and other shit like that.
O's with dots over them.
Yeah, like Björn and all that other shit. But anyway, not to say I don't think they have a good place in metal, because I'll tell you right now, they're fucking... Norway's got some shit going on when it comes down to metal. There was a Norwegian band we really like, actually. What were they? Nordler.
Oh, well, they're not really a band anymore.
No, they're not. But they're pretty awesome. But they're also not black metal. Anyhow, I'm digressing here. So,
Yes, that story's going to be long enough.
yeah, it is. So anyway, basically it started with the Storveit Church in Bergen, Norway, on May 23rd. And they got the fire put out and there was no real massive damage. And about 2 weeks later, the first church was successfully burnt down. And that was Fantoft Stave Church. I don't know what the fuck a stave church is. Do you know?
No.
No idea. Anyway, Fantoft Stave Church was, which was also in Bergen, that was burnt right to the fucking ground. And it's since been rebuilt back up. And a lot of the places actually have been reconstructed. I think our producer might be looking something up here just to make sure we know what it's saying.
Oh, I'm a producer now.
Yeah, you are this time.
Vertical wooden post or plank in a building or other structure. So
Okay, it's
basically a wooden church.
A wooden church. Which I guess that's probably what
Most of them.
made this so easy for them back in the day. Because, I mean, you go to some places like, I think a lot of the English churches and a lot of the French churches and stuff, they're all fucking made of stone. Aren't they?
Only after a certain time period.
Or before.
Previous to that, there was oodles of churches of different religions, all made of wood.
Okay. So
Anyway, hold on. Before you go any further, you said 92?
Yeah, this was in 92. It all
I
began.
thought this all happened in the 80s.
No. This all happened this is when it all began in 92. I
Okay.
mean, don't think the church burnings were invented in 1992. This shit's been going on for centuries. But the black metal church burnings that we all know of pretty much took place in 92.
Okay, proceed.
Yeah. So anyway, this continued on for 3 years, and we're talking a lot of carnage went down. There's more than 15 churches were burnt down, and 10 unsuccessful attempts. A lot of the unsuccessful ones were stone churches, I believe. So there was damage done, but they weren't really completely destroyed. So the first year of this, almost all these crimes were committed by none other than Count Grishnak, who is also known to the public as Varg Vikernes. Now, if any of you don't know who Varg is, well, I'll tell you right now, he's a cool dude.
Ugh, just Google one of his silly ranting videos.
Yeah. So anyway, So Varg and also whatever accomplices he could possibly round up that were dumb enough to go fucking burn some churches with him. And a couple of those people were Euronymous. Euronymous was from Mayhem, and Varg played in Mayhem as the bassist. No, not the bassist. Yeah, he might have been... No, he was the guitarist in Mayhem for an album, I think, or something like that.
I
And,
thought bassists weren't smart enough to do this kind of stuff anyway.
well, the bassist was Necrobutcher.
Okay.
Was the bassist. And he's actually a cool guy, I think, personally. From what I about as cool as he could be. Anyways, we're moving off.
Know him personally.
Yeah. So anyway, and the other person was Faust. I think is how you say his name, from Emperor. And we all know Emperor. Those guys were fucking. They had an altar in their jam spot, and they were doing sacrificial fucking shit. Like, it was crazy. They were right into this whole Satanism bullshit. So, now that we were talking about Necrobutcher, Necrobutcher actually said he believes that the church burnings were futile and it was stupid. So anybody that is wondering, the reason that these were taking place was because Christianity had moved into Norway. And, I mean, you can hear right out of Varg's mouth. You just go on his YouTube channel. He'll tell you all about why he did it. The guy's a fucking nut.
While singing Norwegian folk
While
songs.
singing, exactly, and driving his fucking Jeep through the woods like a bananas fuck. Shouldn't say
No.
on the pod, but...
Reject.
Reject, yeah. Anyways. We'll have to edit this out. Anyway, so... And you're all going to be like, edit what out? So anyway, he said they were futile, and they were really only done to raise credit for the people involved and for the black metal scene, which he's probably right. It was all just a big ploy. But now there's other accounts that say the Norwegian government had their hands in on it, and they wanted this to all happen. And it was basically because the Christian churches were being built on ancient, I don't know what you'd call them, I guess temples, like Viking temples.
Sacred ground.
Yeah, like pagan temples and pagan worship places. Which, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and justify burning down a building, because that's just stupid. But at the same time, I see where the anger comes in. I do, I get it. You know, it's like...
But you and I talked about this, I think it was like 2 weekends ago when you were watching that crazy nut on YouTube going on and on and on. You know... Just thinking about his face. Anyway.
Yeah.
You're taking... Okay, so yeah, Christianity came in and tried to annihilate the whole pagan thing. And
They did. And Christianity has a history of being like that.
fair enough. But then you take the religion that was attacked, and that religion attacks the Christian religion again by burning down their churches, and it's just like, make a stand in a... I don't know. There's no productive way to make a stand, I guess, but...
The opinions of the hosts on this show only represent the opinions of the hosts on this show, but personally I think religion is pretty crazy as it stands in all forms.
Well,
But
I agree with you.
paganism is one of the oldest religions. I believe if you were to look the history up, paganism was probably around before there was even Christianity.
Hard to say.
It's hard to say. It is a toss-up, but either way, you know, I'm divided on it because like part of me is like, well, you're stupid for burning churches down because that's just fucking crazy anyway. And then the other part of me is like, well, you know what? You did desecrate somebody's thing.
Yeah, but
So
that could
they
have
just
gone
burn
on
it
forever.
down because they didn't like it there.
It could have been attacks back and forth forever.
Well, it was.
'Cause one is not better than the other.
It was, but having said that, it's also true what Varg says about how Christianity did this all over the map. Like, it wasn't just Norway. They've moved into England. They were never from England. They moved into France. They
Well,
weren't
no,
from
I think
there.
it was based out of England.
Well, no, Catholicism.
Was based out of England.
Well, yeah, I guess. Anyway, like I said, I don't study religion because I don't think it's cool. I think it's a horrible thing. But anyway, basically, when it comes down to it, that's why this all took place. And so I kind of agree with Necro Butcher in a way, because he's saying, well, it's not going to help anything.
Mm-mm.
It's basically going to get somebody put in jail, and that's the end of it. And which it did. It did get Varg put in prison.
And whether you're religious or not, I know we say we're never going to talk about this on the podcast, this whole religion crap, but we kind of have to here.
Well, this is, we're talking about something that is based on of religion.
But yes, churches are a ridiculous building, but most of them have a beauty to them. There's architecture. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into building them.
Yeah, it's still a building.
And then you just completely burn it down.
I mean, if your neighbor's an asshole, I still don't think he should be burning his fucking house down.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, some of our neighbors are assholes, and I don't burn their house down because we're attached to them, and it would burn our house down also.
Another edit.
We'll edit this out. You guys are going to be so confused at the end of this. Anyways, so yeah, that's pretty much all I got on the black metal church burnings. For now, hint, hint.
You could talk about this for days.
Yeah, you could, really. But like, I just wanted to get a quick blurb, and I wanted to start this pod out with something sort of familiar to everybody, so they kind of know, what they're getting into. So what do you got there, little miss?
So I kind of jumped. Well, I thought I was jumping forward in time, but I'm actually jumping back in time.
Yeah.
So we're going to 2 days before Christmas in 1985.
Ooh.
So 2 men walk into a church courtyard and try to blow their brains out with a 12-gauge shotgun.
Okay.
One of them died. One of them completely mutilated his face and had to go under all kinds of surgery.
Okay.
And once he was well enough to attend a trial, he claimed that the music of Judas Priest brainwashed them to kill themselves.
Well, yeah, I mean, Screaming for Vengeance did that to me for sure.
Anyway. Okay, so their families decided to sue the band.
Oh, really?
Hence begins this very short trial.
I can imagine.
So, in July 1990, the trial actually began. The lawyer had argued that they were 18 years old. The Judas Priest lawyer basically said, these 2 kids had a pretty rough life, because you got to research that stuff when you're going into a trial.
Oh, definitely. And you know that obviously they didn't come from normalcy.
Well,
if they're getting to that from music.
It turns out that they came from homes filled with domestic violence and abuse, so the very parents that sued Judas Priest on behalf of their children were abusing those children most of their lives.
They were the reason for the kids being fucked up. Yeah.
Exactly. And these kids had drug addictions and whatever. So the dude who had to have all the reconstructive surgery, I'm digressing again.
That's what we do here at Getting Hurt Podcast.
He became a born-again Christian.
Okay.
And 2 years later, died of an overdose.
Yeah.
So there you are.
So that's what Christianity does for people.
Anyway.
Here's some meth. Pray to God.
So the lawyers for the families, I don't know if this is the origin of all this nonsense. I don't think it was. I think it was a couple of years earlier, Ozzy.
Oh,
there were suits against Ozzy.
If you think about it, too, since rock and roll even was invented, people have been trying to blame it for shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's really been, like,
I know there's video games, Metal's off the hook.
I mean, Mortal Kombat. Remember that in the 90s and stuff?
Yeah, because in real life, on the street, you can definitely execute a perfect fatality.
Oh, yeah.
And rip someone's skull out.
Or a babality.
What?
Oh, you don't remember the
No, I
babality?
don't.
Oh, that's when you can turn your opponent into a baby and then chop them up.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Oh, boy.
Of course I did that shit,
Yeah, okay. So anyway, the lawyers for this family tried to say that there was subliminal messages hidden in the music. They actually took the song that they were saying caused these 2 kids to do this, played it forwards, played it backwards, slowed it down, and sped it up in court to try to prove their point. Funny thing is, this song wasn't even written by Judas Priest. It was a cover song they did.
Oh, what was the song? Don't remember.
I didn't write it down. I've never heard it. I've never seen it on an album, and I've never heard it.
Yeah. So it
Probably
wasn't
because of this.
breaking the law,
That's
breaking the
their
law.
song. That's their song. Anyway, yeah. So very quickly, the judge in this case found Judas Priest not guilty at all, and it goes back to the basis of, so when this happened to Ozzy a couple of years earlier, I guess there was three accusations against Ozzy for the same thing: subliminal messages in the music causing people to either attempt to or commit suicide.
Yeah.
But did you know song lyrics are actually protected underneath the Free Speech Act
Yes.
and the First Amendment?
Well, that's actually one thing I was going to say is I like where the world is now with music. That doesn't happen anymore. You don't see any more of people saying, "Oh, they say this and they say that." Like I feel like that was a product of that was kind of killed
it
in
happened with Manson in the
yeah
late 90s.
in the late 90s. But I mean, like today, I can think of a few bands that have just said some absolute wretched shit in the 2000s and the teens here in their music, and nobody's coming after them anymore because I think people have kind of started to realize it's like it's art. You know, if you can draw a painting of somebody getting stabbed to death, then why can't you sing a song about it?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if I draw a painting of anything, just about anything, it's not illegal.
Yeah, that's true.
So, all they're doing is painting audio pictures.
Yeah, pretty
in a way,
much.
if you think about it.
But I think this all spawned from, we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording here, the whole Cold War hair metal Dee Snider thing.
Which threw me off because I was like, what? I didn't think it had anything to do with it.
Yeah, so I think there was so much sensitivity around the metal genre, anything in the metal genre, after that, during that, right before that.
Yeah. Dee is such a cool fucking dude.
Oh, yeah. We could do a whole episode on Dee.
Yeah.
We really could. He is a cool dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
And, of course, he liked one of my tweets.
You're famous now.
No. I'm sure it was just a lackey.
No, I don't think so. I think he runs his own. Well, it's hard to say, I guess.
What was that I reposted? It was about the supergroup. So it's him and Sebastian Bach singing.
Yeah, and then ex Guns N' Roses member and ex Poison member, I believe.
Yeah, and they're doing one big show.
Yeah.
That would be a wicked show to see.
It would be fun.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. There was just so much sensitivity around it that I think bands were just getting sued left, right, and center for ridiculous crap.
It was kind of like how also, like, and by the way, I don't want this to sound like I'm throwing out the whole Me Too thing because I believe that what the shit that's happened to women is horrible, but I think it's similar to that where once Me Too took place and people
Everybody
were starting,
jumped on it, yeah.
everybody was like, oh, well, now I see money now. I just see this
I don't
opportunity.
know if that's the case or it gave people the confidence
Yeah, it could be that too.
to actually do that. That doesn't really.
And I hate to even say that because, there's a lot of those cases in Me Too that are
there is cases
legit.
where women have just given up because I shouldn't say women have just given up. There are a few cases where things were not proven,
Yeah, yeah.
like the whole Morgan Freeman deal.
Yeah,
Like he was never charged with anything.
I think there's a whole bunch of them. Who's the scientist guy? The star. What's his name?
Neil
deGrasse Tyson.
Neil
Somebody.
Patrick Harris.
Somebody. I know. Anyways, it wasn't Neil Patrick Harris. Anyways,
Somebody accused him.
yeah, some woman came forward and said Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't even know what the allegations were, but anyway, yeah. And when I heard that, I'm just like, come on, man, what the fuck?
He's too nerdy to even be able to execute that, isn't he?
I don't know. Like, it's not. It's just. It's almost like at this point, you're just people who have a connection with somebody. They're like, well, that's the most famous person I know, so I'm going to try to nail them.
Yeah.
I just read about another chick. We're getting way off topic here, but I just read about another model from Canada that just is trying to sue a guy that apparently raped her like fucking 80. No, it wasn't that long, but it was like 28
like
years
a photographer
ago.
or her manager.
No, an actor
Oh,
that she just liked. And she liked him she just liked his stuff, and he approached her apparently and went to hang out. And I'm not, saying that what she's saying isn't true, but she's coming forward like whatever it is, 28, 30 years later with next to no evidence and expects to get a case out of it. And it's like not going to happen.
yeah.
But
that's tough
when
you
you're
can't.
when you're 14 you don't have the confidence or the know-how to even figure out what to do in those situations.
women would never have gone to the hospital.
No, exactly, right? So, but anyway, like I said, we're getting way off topic here.
Back to what you said about how this doesn't really happen anymore. So a lot of those cases, you know, you read about them and it states record played forward, backwards, sped up, slowed down. Well, up until a couple of years ago, there was no records, really.
No,
you couldn't play a tape backwards. You couldn't play a CD backwards.
Yeah, you can play a tape backwards.
You could play a tape backwards?
Yeah, you can play a tape backwards. That's possible.
Not in my stereo. I couldn't play a tape backwards.
You'd have to have a tape player that would be able to rewind slowly.
But that just makes you think a little bit. Just because the media format changed.
Yeah. Now, I mean, with digital stuff, you can do anything.
Yeah.
You can play a song backwards. You just need an app that'll do it.
Yeah, but I mean, in the 90s and
yeah, they may not have had the shit
even
to
early
do it.
2000s, that wouldn't have been something that was readily available to
Not
every
to
hillbilly.
the public.
Yeah.
No. To like prosecutors, probably yes, but yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, that was the short and sweet on that Breed's trial. It literally lasted.
It's so fucked
no
because
time.
Rob's just he's not that kind of a guy.
Yeah.
And neither was the rest of Judas Priest. Like, they just weren't... They're not malicious people.
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
like,
he's like one of the most
yeah, okay,
gentle...
so he wrote a song called Breaking the Law. And you know why? Because he was probably trying to sell music to the teenagers that just thought that shit was cool.
Or, you know, he was gay and it was illegal at the time.
Well, it wasn't illegal.
He was illegal still.
I don't think it was illegal. Well, he's English, so that discounts that. But I don't think it was illegal.
Do I have to ask the producer to look this up?
Well, who's the producer this time?
Probably me.
I don't think it's been illegal within the last 30 years to be gay.
I don't know about that. There were still states in America where it was still illegal until very recent times.
Really? Wow. That's off-putting.
Yes.
We're quite a society, aren't we?
Ugh, it's ridiculous.
Well,
it's like you can't have relations with your horse.
While you're looking that up, I could get into the next thing here if you want.
Sure.
I got a little tidbit. So this kind of is the next chapter from the last little story that I had. And so it's about a gentleman named Euronymous.
Oh boy, we're back on that.
Who his actual name is Oystein Arseth. Oystein Arseth. So Euronymous, many of you know who Euronymous is, but he was a musician from Norway. He is muchly considered the founder of the Norwegian black metal scene, the early scene. He's the co-founder and guitarist of Mayhem. Also, he founded the record label Death Like Silence Productions, and he owned a record shop called Helvet Records. Quite famous. I think you can actually still go there and check. I think it's like something's there. I don't know actually if the record shop's there. It's been closed, obviously, but something's there anyway. So, in early 1993, so in the middle of the kind of the church burning shit, some bad blood formed between the Varg that we were talking about and Euronymous, and also between some of the Swedish black metal scene and Euronymous. He was basically pissing a lot of people off. He thought he had a lot of power. He thought he was this king of the scene, and a lot of people disagreed because, nobody's really the king of a metal scene. You do your thing, you put your part in, and that's that. You're a piece in the puzzle, more or less.
Unless you're, Varg and crazy and think that.
Yeah, well, I mean, even Varg didn't have that mentality. I think Varg was, if you hear his accounts of it, he was doing what he was being pressured into doing, which may or may not be true. But, anyways, this kind of was a little over the top. But this. Basically, on August 10th, 1993, Varg and Snorre Rook, which, a.k.a. I may not be saying his last name right. I'm pretty sure I'm saying his first name right. Snorre. Snorre.
I don't know.
Or Snorre. Anyways, So his nickname or his whatever, his stage name was Blackthorn. Those two guys went to Euronymous' apartment in Oslo, and once they got there, an altercation ensued, and Euronymous ended up dead with 23 stab wounds. 23. That's a lot of stab wounds. I'm just saying. That takes some effort to fucking stab somebody 23 times. So, there's a lot of speculation on why he was murdered. Some think it had to do with a power struggle over Burzum Records. So, I never actually mentioned this, but Burzum was a band that Varg started, and he was being produced by Euronymous' record label, Deathlike Productions, and also his records would have been being sold at Helvet Records. So Euronymous kind of had a lot of his...
Which, that was the little teeny place in the brick building, right?
Right, yeah. It was just a little record shop,
Yeah.
but it was also a very central location for this early black metal scene. It was a hangout.
Yeah, but did you ever research it? You had to walk through like this creepy
Oh, yeah.
crack in between
It
two
was
buildings.
weird. I
into an
saw
alley
it. I've
and-
seen pictures of it, but like, it's really crazy to see how shitty pictures were in fucking 1992.
Yeah, it's
It's
bad.
like, what the hell, man? That's all we had.
Plus, they were all wearing their corpse paint on a daily
Yeah,
basis.
it's not. It wasn't. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck they were doing. They were a little over the top, but so anyhow, Varg claims it was in self-defense. Now, I just want to stop everything right now and say that the last time I heard of somebody getting stabbed 23 times in self-defense was never. Okay? That is an angry
excess of
fucking
force.
murder. Okay? I don't care what anyone says. So, he states that Euronymous had planned to torture and murder him. So,
He tried, didn't? Okay, no. He said Euronymous made an attempt on his life.
no, he found out from another guy.
Okay, that Euronymous was going to do it.
Was
and then
planning
he went
on-
to Euronymous' house.
Yeah, so he found out that Euronymous was planning on torturing him and murdering him, and he was going to videotape it. And all kinds of other crazy shit. Now, Euronymous is now dead, so there's no way we're ever going to really know the answer to this, but, you know,
No.
who knows? But that's what Count Grishnak's tale is about the whole thing. So anyway, honestly, it's also believed that many, many, many people wanted Euronymous dead because Euronymous was not really a good guy. He was starting to really make people mad. He was throwing his power around. Necro Butcher, who I've mentioned, the bassist for Mayhem, has publicly stated that he was going to kill Euronymous had someone else not done it.
But
I see the disagreement in your
No, no,
eyes.
no.
What?
I watched that stupid 15 minutes of Varg. That's 15 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
Okay, that's 15 minutes of the 75 hours
But
of that
he
footage that's on there.
stated that Euronymous ratted him out.
Or he
And-
threatened to.
That was why everybody all of a sudden hated him. 'Cause he was
Yeah.
brainwashed by the government and was going to rat
Yeah.
them all out for the church burnings.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, Euronymous only
Euronymous-
served 6 years in jail for stabbing him 23
You mean Varg?
times. What?
You
Varg,
mean
yeah.
Varg? I'm getting to that. It was more than
Sorry,
6.
sorry. I thought
But,
it was only 6.
No, but anyway, it was 14 years. But that's the Norwegian justice system. It's fucked.
Yeah.
You go down for burning multiple buildings down and a murder that's pretty much in the States. You'd have been going down on first-degree murder because you went to his house to fucking kill him.
Or at least first-degree manslaughter.
Well, I don't know if it would fall into manslaughter.
It depends, and if they could prove a little bit of self-defense.
There'd be a bunch of bullshit, especially in the American or Canadian justice system. Well, I mean, in Canada, he would have been out in 14 years. Because life in prison in this country is 25 fucking years, so
Yeah.
they're a little twisted on their sense of what life is. Anyhow, so, yeah, basically, even Necro Butcher has said if Varg hadn't have killed Euronymous, he would have done it himself. And I think that Necro Butcher's a pretty cool guy, but
You've stated
I
numerous
do.
times.
I mean, I think Varg's a pretty cool guy. No, I don't really. Varg's a fucking weirdo, okay? Let's just get that out there right now. But, well, I mean, he posts videos of his fucking cute little children running around.
He has children?
Oh, yeah, he's got 3 kids.
Varg?
Varg has 3 kids, yeah. And a
I love
wife.
them.
And he changed his name to, like, fucking something like Ken or Richard or something. I don't know what the fuck it is now, but he's changed his name, but yet he still goes by Varg. So it's like he's not
Yeah, and
hiding.
he still has a YouTube, like,
Yeah.
presence of insanity.
Yeah. Well, he's had his YouTube channel taken from him so many times, but he just keeps opening a new one, I think, or something. Anyway, I don't know. I follow him because I like laughing at him. He's hilarious. Listening to him sing his fucking songs and shit. It's pretty awesome. I think he writes half of those songs. I don't know. Like
Who
it's
knows?
fucked. Anyhow, basically that's what happened. And Varg ended up getting sentenced to 14 years in prison, and then was released, and now he's a walking free man. The Norwegian justice system's pretty weird. Like they're weird about other things too. Like if you do illegal shit and then go to their country, they'll protect you.
Yeah.
As we've already found out about some actor. What was the fucking actor?
No, it's
Or the movie producer there.
Harvey. No, it was Donald Trump during his impeachment.
Well, Donald Trump also, he attempted that. But there was I'm pretty sure it's actually that guy that just won the awards at the French Oscar things. What's that guy's name?
Yes.
Anyway, he raped a 14-year-old or something, and he went to Norway, and they were like, yeah, we'll protect you.
Wife killed by Manson there while she was pregnant.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, but they'll grant immunity, more or less, and say, like, okay, no, and we're not going to exile this guy out of the country because he's
Roman
here.
Polanski.
That's it. Yeah, Roman piece of shitsky. But, and, you know, don't let the fact that his wife was murdered shadow the fact that he's a giant piece of garbage.
Except that he wasn't before that happened. I'm pretty sure he got stupidly traumatized by
Okay.
all that.
Anyway, either way, I don't know the story about that.
So the producer's gotten back to me that being homosexual was decriminalized in the UK in 1980.
It was decriminalized in 1980.
Uh-huh.
So Priest would have been
except
formed in
in-
like 75,
Yeah,
right?
except in Northern Ireland where it wasn't until 1985.
Okay.
And even still, you could not be part of Scotland Yard. You could not serve in Parliament.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the American military wouldn't accept it for a long time either.
No.
Yep. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. But anyways. Now you're fucking LGBTQ, A, B, C, D, E.
Well,
It doesn't matter what you are now,
You love who you love.
I guess.
End of story.
It's true, but I think they've added a whole alphabet into it now. It's not just gay anymore.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's all I got about Euronymous' murder. So, you know, my first 2 stories are probably shit that you guys knew about. But, you know, that's my introduction into metalheads being fucking crazy. And there's more.
So tell me one I don't know about.
Want me to tell you one you don't know about? Okay, this one here actually is just kind of funny. This one's not, this guy, I like this guy. I really like this guy. I want to hang out with him. For reals.
Oh, boy.
So, on October 23rd, 2019,
Oh, boy.
very recently, Dustin Schoenhofer from Walls of Jericho, who is their drummer, was pulled over for speeding on a highway. Now you know why I like this guy. So he was pulled over for speeding on a highway by Oregon State Police. After they pulled him over, they felt they had probable cause to search his vehicle, maybe because of some odors coming off of the vehicle, possibly. And once they searched the vehicle, they discovered a whopping 632 pounds of weed. Now, I just want to point something out here. Where the fuck do you put 632 pounds of weed in a truck? Because that's what it was. It was a fucking pickup truck. I saw the picture of the vehicle on the side of the
mounted.
truck. Well, it would have been like back in the Prohibition days when guys from New Brunswick were running fucking liquor down here covered in potatoes
Yeah.
and blankets and shit like that. It's like just mounted right to the fucking as high as you could pile it. Anyhow, and in addition to that, there was also 36 pounds of fucking honey oil on board. So, needless to say, he was subsequently arrested, obviously, and charged with 6 different offenses, including exporting and distribution of marijuana and marijuana concentrates.
Was this the dude that claimed either it wasn't his or he didn't know it was there?
Yeah, that's the best part about it. I love that. Anyways, he was released on $45,000 bail, which probably, I don't know.
That's pretty low.
I don't know if Walls of Jericho how well they're doing, but that's quite a lot of cash to just be able to fucking come up with. That's not really cash, though. I guess he could have fucking put his house
put
up
up his
for
trailer.
That. He could have been like, "Well, I mean, you got $2 million worth of my weed now. Can you take that on bail?" Anyways. So anyway, yeah, the best part about the whole fucking story is he claims he had no idea the weed was in the truck. Like, come on, dude. Really? Anyways, I want to go hang out with Dustin Schonhofer because I know that there's going to be blazing big cron like Cheech and Chong, and that's the best part about it. And that's all I got on that story. I just wanted to have something funny in here because those last 2 stories were not funny.
No, that one's pretty amazing.
I like it, actually. I wonder if he's still at it. He's probably like, well, I better fucking try this shit again. Next time we'll try maybe 200 pounds and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, didn't know the heaving mound of weed.
That's a
was in the
fucking
back
pile
of
of
my
weed,
truck,
man. I'll tell you right now, that's a pile of weed.
Yeah.
The photos, I mean, those were amazing. There was at least, I don't know, I'd say about 15.
It was like hay bale height.
Yeah, 15 like hay bale size bundles of weed on the side of the highway.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And I mean, you know, the state troopers made 1 or 2 of those disappear.
Oh, yeah.
Guaranteed that they only found 2 less than what they actually
There
found.
is definitely some super troopers down there in the States. Don't you
Yeah.
think, meow?
Yeah. Oh, man, that's awesome. Anyway, what do you got?
So, I only did 2. I'm slacking here. The other one, it's another one people kind of know about, the whole Tim Lambesis thing,
Yes.
which also makes me laugh a little bit.
Yeah, and Lambesis is one of my faves. If you're listening, bud, you got it going on, man.
Aside from that little fuck up.
I'll let it slide.
Oh, man. So good old Tim was arrested while shopping in 2013 for hiring an undercover sheriff
What
to
was
kill
he
his
shopping
wife.
for, I wonder?
What?
Wonder what he was shopping for.
But she was at Target. I don't know.
I hope he got pulled over with, like fucking something weird.
No, they arrested him in stores.
Like in the store.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he hired an undercover sheriff to kill his wife.
Well, that was dumb.
So she, I guess, now I didn't write this down. This is just off memory. In 2012, she said she was divorcing him. They had 3 adopted girls, so they had some kids together.
Oh, but they never had any of their own kids?
No, they never had any of their own. They adopted 3 girls, which there's some information later I'm going to give you, which makes sense why they were all gung-ho to adopt and save children. Anyway, so again, this was a really fast trial. So after he was arrested.
Yeah, I remember it being quick.
Yeah.
Actually.
After he was arrested, he was released on $2 million bail,
Well, I'll tell you right now,
which I'm sure he put up himself.
As They Lay Dying got some shit going on.
Yeah.
They're not like Walls of Jericho running fucking weed across the states, okay? They're fucking,
Claiming they
they're
didn't know it
doing
was
big
there.
ass fucking festival shows and shit.
That's a story I'm not going to forget for a long time. Because I just have the mental movie in my head of how that went down. Sorry, man, I didn't know it was there.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. I want to find out more about this guy.
Anyway, so Tim's trial started in 2014 with some pretty damn...
My trial?
What?
My trial?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you tried to
Oh,
kill
that
me.
other Tim. Yeah, that other guy.
Anyway, there was some pretty damning evidence against him. Like, he pled not guilty.
Yeah, I heard.
There was videotape or audio tapes of him asking.
I
this
wanted
cop.
to believe he was set up so bad, but
But then the audio tapes came out.
Yeah.
He did pay the dude $1,000 and told him how to track down his wife.
he should have took a hint that like no one's gonna murder your wife for $1,000, dude.
No, well, that was just a down payment. So
Oh,
the dude was supposed to then go research.
yeah, I gotcha.
Anyway, once these audio tapes came out, he confessed.
Yeah, well, I heard Megan was a cunt. I don't know if it's true,
Well,
but word.
it's just a horrible word.
Yeah, whatever. It's a word.
Um,
The British made it up.
so he's convicted of attempted murder, of hiring someone to murder someone, and conspiracy to commit murder. And he was sentenced to 6 years, less 45 days of time served. 6 years.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure, again, in Canada here, that's like a life sentence.
Well, from what I can remember, usually a life sentence is 25 years, and then you're usually eligible for parole after 12 or 14.
But he was only sentenced to 6.
Yeah, so that wasn't a life sentence at all.
No. For trying to kill somebody. For hiring someone
Yeah.
else to kill somebody.
It's conspiracy, though. It's not the same.
Money,
It isn't,
money
though.
changed hands.
I know, but it isn't the same. It's not the same as if you took a fucking rifle and went to your wife's house to try to
I
blast her
suppose.
brains out against
So
the
did
wall.
you hear what his
Splatter.
lawyer? Did you hear what his lawyer said caused all this to happen?
No.
So his lawyer tried to state that all the steroids he was taking to get all buff and beefed up like he is
I
now
was cooking them.
caused his brain to have
Yeah.
some
Which-
short circuits.
We all know that can happen.
Yeah, but that much that you all of a sudden want to kill your wife and hire
fucking
someone
get
to do it?
cause some ragers. Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Steroids don't do good things to you.
that's what his lawyer claimed happened and why this
That
happened.
combined with shrunken balls, he probably was fucking
Yeah,
mad.
he's a good-looking dude, and he's muscly and whatever. But yeah, he's probably got balls like raisins
I guess.
by now.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
No, it's just
I've
all
never
rumor.
actually seen steroidal ball shrinkage before.
Maybe you should ask the producer to Google that.
Call in if you got some shrunken steroid balls, but I don't know anything about it really.
Anyway, I mean, moral of the story: he served his time. He did some house arrest for a while.
Yeah.
Couldn't leave the state /country/ whatever.
And he had like a blog or something while he was on house arrest. He was allowed to use the internet.
Yeah, but it was kind of all about pumping iron, and
Oh,
every
yeah.
once in a while he'd rage about what happened.
A bunch of churchy shit on there too, I think.
Well, yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a sec too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all in all, they're back to writing music. They're back to touring. His band,
They're back to fucking normal.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
his band stood behind him through all this shit. And when he wasn't allowed to do social media, they were kind of keeping in contact and giving little updates to the fans and whatever. And it's like none of their fans dropped off.
No. Yeah, why would they?
They
Weren't
still
he wasn't
have-
trying to kill them.
Anyway, the Roid Freak is, yes, like you said, back to normal. They're still writing awesome music. But apparently when he went to jail, he got all angry about life and whatever, whether that's coming off the roids or still doing roids or whatever. I did not know that As I Lay Dying was a Christian band.
Originally, yes.
I had
Then
no clue.
they drifted away from that quite a lot.
So they started as
Because
a
it
Christian
doesn't
band.
sell very well.
Well, no. They started as a Christian band. They toured with mainly Christian bands for like the first 10 years of their career.
Oh, like I Hate God and Slayer?
No. Anyway, so they had such a massive Christian following that when they started to slowly convert to atheism, which all of them have now, they pretended that they were still this crazy Christian band because they didn't want to lose their fans.
And then they just, like, so they didn't lose their, yeah, I gotcha.
Anyway, it's all out in the open now, so
Yeah. Bye-bye Christians.
they still
Now
have
it's all
their
new people
fans.
at their shows.
I had no freaking clue that they were a Christian
No.
band.
That was kind of a thing. Like, I don't know when they formed. We probably talked about this on another pod.
We
but
did. It was like 2000 or earlier, wasn't it?
Was it? But that was kind of a thing, though. Back, I mean, I remember being in high school and hearing about, what was that fucking band? They're definitely not a metal band. But,
Creed.
Yeah, there was Creed. Remember, what the fuck were they called? Jesus Freak? Who wrote the song Jesus Freak?
I have no clue.
But that was another one. They were just like a alternative rock band, but they were kind of, they never got famous because, I mean, that type of shit just doesn't go over well with
But
the
there's
public.
quite a few metal bands that are classified as Christian bands.
Yeah, there's a few. I don't know, like there's some
I
of
thought
them.
it was the devil's music.
There's some of them that I will give. Yeah, really. What happened there? Anyways, but yeah, back when it was fucking Elvis shaking his hips, he was worshiping Satan because of it.
Yeah, and they banned him from moving on TV, so
Fuck's
he used to
sake.
shake his pinky finger
See what
just
I mean,
to kind of
man?
go against the man.
Certain people shouldn't even be allowed to talk or listen to music.
No.
It's fucked. It's like, no, your opinion is now invalid because you just come up with fucking bonkers ideas. But anyway, yeah, so it's kind of weird that they were Christian and now they're not. And you know what else is weird? I don't know if you picked up on this, but while he was on house arrest, somehow, some way,
Austrian Death Machine.
Austrian Death Machine was still putting music out.
It's pretty easy to send vocal files and have someone mix them really good.
But would he have been allowed to do that?
I don't see why not. He was on house arrest. He was back on social
Wasn't on
media.
vocal arrest. They didn't have a big cock jam down his throat, so he couldn't sing.
Oh, boy. Man. Professionalism out the window.
Oh, we never had any. Anyways.
Yeah, he was on house arrest, but he wasn't on, like, social media arrest or anything, so he was still able to...
Yeah, that's true. And I guess even that wouldn't really be social media, because, I mean, there's fucking gangster rappers that are putting out albums from prison, so...
And from beyond the grave.
Oh, yeah, well, we all know Tupac's not dead.
Or Biggie, for that matter.
There's a little awkward silence in there, because, I don't know, I'm pretty sure Biggie's dead.
I'm pretty sure Tupac is dead. Yeah, he's put out, like, 37 albums since he died, but...
Yeah. Yeah, the recording that guy must have done.
Yeah.
In order to have that shit. Or it's not him, it's someone else that sounds like him
No,
doing
I think
it.
he probably... Because he was a bit of a poet, so I think he probably had a lot of stuff written.
He's
that
a little bit
just-
full of himself, too, so he was constantly just talking about how awesome he thought he was.
Yeah, but to be fair, like, I'm not a big rap fan. I went through that
I'm
phase
a
in high school
not
because everybody else
A
did.
rap fan.
But, you know, he actually wrote about some half-decent topics.
Yeah. Except for Cypress Hill. I liked Cypress Hill. I always liked Cypress Hill.
They were a bit goofy.
Yeah, well, they sing about weed. I like weed.
Yeah, I guess. If you could make an entire career.
They have managed to do that as they take hits from the bong.
Except I don't think they've written anything since at least 1998.
They're disbanded. I don't think they're even together
No, I
anymore.
think they still do, like...
The last song I heard them that I remember hearing them put out was like "Checkmate, Fool."
I think
hang
they
'em
still
high.
do silly little tours once in a while.
Do they? Yeah,
With other-
I would drop everything I was doing and go see Cypress Hill.
Would ya?
Yeah,
You're on
they're
your own there.
they're pretty awesome. Yeah, well, while I'm doing that, you can go see fucking Pearl Jam.
Oh, come on.
Nope.
You can't tell me it wouldn't be...
I'll go to Pearl Jam with you if I can take a fucking pillow.
Listen, you can't tell me it wouldn't be hilariously awesome after all the times we've made fun of this song to watch Eddie Vedder. I love his voice, okay? I do. But to watch him sing Yellow Ledbetter on stage.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because I bet you it would be even more incoherent than the album.
So, back to what we were talking about. Are you done with the Tim thing?
Oh, yeah, that was
Is
it.
that all the info you got on that one?
There wasn't much info to have because that was it.
It's also kept under wraps pretty good, I'm sure. Like
Not
anymore.
anymore.
No, but what I'm saying is they get lots and lots and lots of money, so they can fucking keep shit quiet a little easier
Yeah,
than
but what
some
do you
people
really
can.
need to keep quiet? He
Yeah,
hired
nothing.
someone to kill his
Well,
wife
he
and
wrote
went to
songs
jail.
about how he knows he did it and it's cool and
Yeah.
whatever. So it's
Yeah.
whatever. But anyway, at the end of the day, fucking they put out an album not that long ago and it is pretty good.
It is good.
Like
It's actually called My Own Grave.
I
right?
figured I actually listened to it with skepticism, thinking, well, I'm gonna hate this shit, but
Nope.
I have to listen to
It's
it.
exactly the same as all their other stuff.
It was
years
good,
ago.
yeah. So the last thing I got for y'all is something about a quite familiar little group of young gentlemen that we all know. Well, they're not young gentlemen anymore, but a gentleman named Pat O'Brien from Cannibal Corpse. So, a quick little history on Pat O'Brien. He's their guitarist. In the early 90s, he was in a band called Ceremony. I think he's from Kentucky. Something. Is that a state or a city? I don't know anything. Anyways, I'm pretty sure he's from fucking Kentucky. We're just up in Canada here, living in our igloo. We don't know. We don't know anything, eh?
Ugh.
You know, hoser. Anyway, so anyways, he was in Ceremony for a little while, and when Ceremony broke up, he moved out to La La Land and joined, which by the way is L.A. for anyone who doesn't know.
I was about to ask you what the hell La La Land
Yeah,
is.
La La Land's just whatever. It's L.A. And after searching, he joined a band called Nevermore, which many people have probably heard of. They're quite famous. They're like a power metal group. There's not really any screaming type stuff in it. It's all really pretty vocals, but pretty heavy, decent band.
I don't think I've ever heard of them.
So you're worth checking out. You might actually like them a little more than I would. Anyway, so he stayed with them for around 2 years, I think, before deciding he wanted to do more of a death metal thing. Then he just didn't really do much. He pretty much stayed inactive until 1997, when Cannibal Corpse approached him, which is a pretty fucking cool thing for a band. Which I'm thinking about it now, though. In '97, how famous was? I mean, they formed in '88, though, so they had quite a following then at that point. Yeah, because Cannibal Corpse they did form in '88.
Like when you think of growing up in the country and not knowing a whole lot about metal, what did you know about Slayer?
I knew about Slayer. I knew
Slipknot.
about Cannibal Corpse, Judas Priest, and Iron Maiden.
Right,
Those
and
are-
Sepultura.
Even Sepultura, I didn't even know about.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't know about the Mexicanos until later, which I think they're Brazilian. Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Well, I mean, I love Sepultura. I don't really anymore. Now the Cavalier's gone. It's not my
You
jam.
don't love Sepultura at all.
No, I love their old shit. I do love their old
Yeah,
shit.
their old stuff's good.
Yeah.
Max Cavalier's been gone for a long
Ratamahata or
time. Right?
Ratamatata or whatever you fucking call it. Anyway, your Roots, Bloody Roots. It's good shit.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so they approached him about auditioning. After he auditioned, he passed with flying colors, and he subsequently ended up replacing Rob Barrett on guitar.
A plus, buddy. Pass with flying colors.
Yeah, with flying colors. So anyway, he has been now on every single album since Gallery of Suicide. So this is where shit gets
I was
fucked
going to
up.
say, the suspense is killing me. What the hell did this guy do?
On December 10th, 2018, Pat forced himself into a home near his own home, which was occupied by two residents. This is still an ongoing thing,
Okay.
I think. It only happened 2 years ago, so not even 2 years ago. So, the place he forced himself into was occupied by two residents. He was told to leave before pushing one of the people down to the ground. He then ran outside and hid in the backyard. So that's kind of how it all started. The police were called, obviously, and when they arrived, they tried to arrest him, and instead of obeying their commands like a good little boy should have, he decided it was a good idea to charge at one of the cops with a fucking knife. Yeah. So, lucky for him, he wasn't shot dead, because that would have been my first thought, is like, well, they obviously fucking blasted his brains out with a fucking rifle, because that's usually what happens when you try to attack a cop. You're getting your shit shot up. Anyway, they didn't shoot him. Instead, he was taken down with an electronic control device. Anybody who doesn't know what one of those is, it's a fucking taser. And they do not feel good.
No.
I've been tased, and it's fucking bad news. I'd almost rather get shot.
Do you actually pee yourself?
No, I just tased myself in the arm.
Oh.
So, no, I didn't. And it was a fucking... like a personal model, so I doubt it was like the ones they got, because they have the darts that stick right in you.
Yeah, yeah.
So those diodes or whatever they call them, they stick right in your fucking.
They're like fish hooks.
yeah.
They've got a
And when you
hook
try
on
to
them,
pull
see?
them out, they don't come out.
Yeah, I know.
So it's and they can just sit there and keep fucking zapping you with them.
Which I think is when you pee yourself.
maybe. Yeah, it's probably like the first shot you might be okay. After that, you're gonna pee, and then after that, you're pooping a little bit. It's for sure. Like your pants is getting messed up. So anyway, now, believe you think that's fucked up, now it gets weird. So, at the exact same time that all this was taking place, a fire department in the area was responding to a massive house fire nearby. Okay?
Okay.
There's a connection. Short time later, it was discovered that the burning house was his.
Okay.
Okay. So the fire escalated very quickly because of the contents. I should make you guys keep clicking next. I read a sentence, click next. Read a sentence, click next, like those fucking stupid lists. Anyways, so the fire escalated very quickly because of the contents of the home, which
A
were
meth lab?
flamethrowers.
What the hell?
Okay, so it is Cannibal Corpse. I would have expected, I don't know, a fucking dungeon, but not necessarily flamethrowers. And so there was multiple weapons and tons of live ammo in there. So to conclude the story, so this is a whole fucking thing, man. And George Corpse Grinder actually made a video. He was bawling his eyeballs out because, I mean, this guy's a good dude. And he's obviously...
Obviously.
No, but he's got some mental problems or something because
Obviously.
whoever it was, whatever's going on with him, his following and his people were like, they're still there for him today.
Really?
Yeah, like he has not killed anybody. Okay,
So-
let's just put that out there. He's not a murderer. And it's not illegal to own guns in the States, so...
It might be illegal to own flamethrowers.
It's not, I don't think.
So-
I think... So, what were you going to say?
No, continue.
Well, the end of my little thing is after the fire was put out, here's a list of all the shit they found.
Oh, God.
And this is like... I was like... My jaw dropped when I read this. So, among the stuff they found were 50 shotguns. So, is he an arms
Okay,
dealer?
you've read this. You should let me read this.
Oh, you want to read it?
I want to read this.
Okay. You go ahead and read it. I concocted a little list here of all the shit.
Okay, so 50... oh, my gosh.
I know, eh?
50 shotguns, 10 semi-automatic rifles, including not one AK-47, but multiples,
Yeah.
2 submachine guns.
Do you know what a submachine gun is?
It's like a Tommy gun, isn't it?
No, an Uzi. Or a
Okay.
MAC-10 would be a
Okay.
submachine. So, like, a little
Well,
ass.
isn't an Uzi a Tommy gun? No.
No, Tommy gun's like fucking
I know they don't use them
a
anymore.
1920 shit.
But isn't it the same mechanism where it just
No, 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 no.
continuously...
Submachine, no,
Okay.
it's not.
20 handguns, 2 flamethrowers, 1 sawed-off shotgun,
So,
off to 1 inch past the stock.
well, that's an illegal. You're not allowed to own sawed-off shotguns. That's why I put that on there.
Okay. I'm having a hard time not just
It's
skipping
getting
to the
fucked
end.
up.
Thousands of rounds of ammo. Many locked safes, which apparently they did not disclose what was in those.
Well, no, that's some of that stuff would have been in there, but other stuff was the thousands of rounds of ammo.
And here's the kicker and the best part.
Because it's Cannibal Corpse, I had to put this there.
3 skulls.
Right. Whose skulls? We don't know. But they were there.
Okay. So to recap. Just because. This is worse and more sadly hilarious than the 600-pound didn't know it was their weed truck guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, first incident is running for unknown reasons into a neighbor's house.
Yeah. So there's some details I do know that I've read that I didn't put there. The guy whose house he went into said that he seemed like he was hallucinating.
Okay.
He was screaming about a rapture and a bunch of other shit.
Oh boy.
Now, how his house caught on fire is beyond me, but I don't know if any of you have ever seen a flamethrower, how they're built, but they have a fuel tank attached to them. So if one should become in a fire and it should get heated up, it's going to blow up.
So he wasn't injured in any way? There was no...
No, other than probably a fucking hole in him from
Okay,
the taser.
so something happened at his house that possibly the fire started before he ran into the neighbor's screaming rapture?
Yeah, so it was all happening at once.
Okay.
Because, like, he's literally at their house breaking in, and the fire department's at his house.
But he had no intention of hurting those people. He was just breaking into their house.
I don't think, but it's hard to say. Like, yeah, there was something going on there with him.
He was wearing clothes, right?
I think so, yeah.
Because part of the story
I
just
think
seems
that would
like
have
he
been
should have been naked.
That would have been like right at the top. Naked Cannibal Corpse guitarist arrested.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and when he was seen going into court, he was wearing a suicide vest or anti-suicide vest, and he was shackled at the legs. I don't know if you know what an anti-suicide vest is. It's made out of really thin fabric, and you're naked underneath it, so you can't strangle yourself.
Yeah.
You can't hang yourself.
So
or
obviously
something.
he probably had no blankets or anything in his cell. That makes that story, which seemed so hilarious at first, really.
Well, it
very
is
sad.
really sad, and that's what I said because, and I mean, to top it all off, 2 days before this happened, Cannibal Corpse announced that they were doing a big tour with Slayer, which has since happened.
So you know what? It was probably the pressure. If he was suffering from mental illness, and then finds out they're going on this giant tour.
Yeah, I better go buy fucking $400 million worth of fucking
No.
guns and blow my house up.
No, he probably had a mental break.
Yeah, maybe. But just, what's with the fucking weapons?
What's with the skulls?
Okay,
Are they his dead friends? Are they his dead
Yeah.
relatives? Did he kill these people and nobody knows?
a shotgun, and a semi-automatic rifle, and a submachine gun, and a handgun, and even a flamethrower and a sawed-off shotgun, I'd be like, okay, dude likes guns.
And just one skull.
But 50 fucking shotguns? What the fuck? It's like, oh, well, you get a shotgun, and you get a shotgun, and you get a shotgun? Like, fuck.
Like the 20 handguns, I can kind of understand for a gun collector. My grandfather had a hidden wall in his living room.
And I mean, that might be something that we're not being told.
Yeah.
Maybe he is a collector.
I mean, the media tends
I know,
to.
I'm not going to obviously start naming names, but I know multiple people who have fucking sawed-off shotguns. They are illegal, yes, but I know tons of people who have them. I know persons who have fucking weapons that you can't even get in this part of the country legally. They're collectors.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll have licenses to be able to have
Yeah, I was
them.
going to say, if you have a certain license, a lot of those things
Yeah,
become
like I know a gentleman who's
not illegal.
who's got a blunderbuss. I mean, I'm fairly certain you're
Those
not
are
allowed to
so cool.
fucking own a blunderbuss. You're certainly not allowed to pull the trigger on one. They're dangerous as shit.
Yeah, you wouldn't even find the stuff to load it anymore.
Yeah, I don't even know what. Fucking
That's
stuff
like
golf
back in
balls
the
in
day
them for
with
all I
the
know.
Stuffing it and
Yeah. But anyway, so I mean, maybe he's a collector, and you know the media loves to sensationalize shit.
That's the thing.
They could have left out all the details
How
that make it
much-
seem normal.
yeah, how much information is
But-
being left out to sensationalize this?
Thousands of rounds of ammo implies that he's not just collecting these for something. He's going to start an army.
Yeah, because collectors don't have ammo generally for
Not
their
that much of
weapons.
it, but
Maybe like
you
6
never know.
rounds to fit in their.
yeah, you never know. I mean, maybe it'll all come out in the wash eventually, and we'll figure it out. But as far as it goes now, he's still got the support of all of his fans. He still has the support of his band. He has not been fired from the band.
Okay.
They plan on him coming back if he hasn't already.
So they must have like hauled this guy away for mental assessment. I would
Maybe.
assume.
There's actually a recent photo surfaced of him. I'll just, if you give my producer a minute here, he can probably show you a recent photo of him.
Or eventually, I think we need to like hire a producer for free. Well, that was him there, wasn't it?
Yeah, but there's a photo of him that surfaced. Oh, here it is. So Cannibal Corpse is working on a new album.
Well, that's George. That's not him.
That's George. But George reached out and said, like, you know, oh, here it is. They stand 100%. So, yeah, they stand 100% behind O'Brien and await his return. He was released for... okay.
Oh,
So
I
he was
see there it
released
says
from jail.
aggravated assault on law enforcement officer and burglary.
So that aggravated assault on a... Do you know that can get him life imprisonment?
Yeah.
And... Or no, sorry, 30 years imprisonment. The burglary, the breaking and entering can get him life.
Really?
I was really surprised to see that. Because I think the laws in Canada, if you fucking try to assault a cop, your charges are way worse than just breaking into somebody's house. But it's Florida. They're probably like, well,
course
at
it's
least he
Florida.
didn't try to stick a fucking meth needle in my arm or something. I don't know, but anyways.
Yeah, Florida's got its problems these days.
Yeah, maybe. Couple. Anyway, yeah, so that's that fucking story. I love Cannibal Corpse. It's sad to see sometimes mental illness can affect everybody. Fucking
Well, and I think mental illness affects people in music and TV and movies and whatever else a lot more.
oh yeah, like you said, the pressure.
Well, it's not just the pressure. It takes a certain kind of person to be able to deal with the long hours, the crazy travel, the being in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Like, I was a performer growing up, but not for that. I don't think I'd necessarily be able to handle that.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so that's that. We might as well wrap her up, I guess.
Yeah.
Until next time. And down the road, we'll have another addition into this. Do you want to plug our stuff?
You can plug our stuff, but I will say if, like, there's a story you want to hear about on this topic.
Yeah, anybody's got any ideas, please hit us up.
Yeah, like something we may not have researched on our own, just send us an email, which Tim will tell you our email, because apparently there's a little bit of an issue with the email on our podcast not showing up in the links.
Who said that?
You did. You said it was not on our RSS feed.
Oh, no, I fixed that.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, no, I fixed that. And that didn't affect that.
Okay.
Our email, you can actually still email us right from our Facebook page. But our email, if you should want to just send us an email, which please do, send us, whatever, titty pics, dick pics, anything you got.
Or, productive things like topics you want to hear us talk about.
Well, that stuff.
If you know of a cool guest that we should have on.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway, it's it's getting.hard.podcast@outlook.com, and our Twitter is at gettinghardpod. Our Instagram is at gettinghardpod. I think I'm probably fucking this all up. I think I do every
Just
single week.
search up Getting Hard Podcast and you're going to find us.
Yeah, you'll find us. Just don't Google search it, because for some reason it doesn't show up on that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, we can be found pretty much wherever you like to listen to your podcast.
Yeah, you can on pretty much all platforms that are good. None of the shitty ones. But wherever you're listening to this now, this is fine. If this is where you're listening to it, then stay here, because this is working. As long as you can hear me. Can you hear me? I think so.
Tap on the glass if you can hear us.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So, anyway, thanks a lot for listening, guys. And we will talk to you all next week. Stay hard, motherfuckers.
Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time you're listening to this.
Go to bed.